It's US Open draw time, and Sasha Zverev is the #1 seed on the men's because there's no Jannik Sinner. He has a nice draw. It's not so good for Carlos Alcaraz. We'll speak about Djokovic. On the women, Sabalenka going for 3 in a row. Iga, a dangerous seed. We're going to speak about it and give our draw reaction.
That's right, it's that time again, Grand Slam time, and the US Open draw is out. And we're going to be going through the men's first and then the women's draw. And like JG said in the intro, no Jannik Sinner. He withdrew from the tournament due to a knee injury. And we got Sasha Zverev. He's a Grand Slam champion now. He's the #1 seed coming into the US Open. And the draw has been quite kind to him from what I've seen so far. We're going to be going through all of it. We're going to be going through some of the danger players on both the men's and the women's. Alex Eala, how's she going to get on the women's side as well? Because she's going to be turning up in New York with all of these big stadium crowds. And will she be able to make it deep at the US Open? It's going to be an exciting one. And I'm not too sure who's going to win on either side for a change, because I know the men's we've been having Alcaraz for some time. Now we've got a new slam champion in Zverev, and we don't know if Alcaraz is fully fit. Can Djokovic get 25? Can Zverev get his second slam? Or is it going to be some of the others? Is it going to be all of these newbies coming in? Could Shelton get one? Mate, it's an exciting US Open. I think it's one of the best in recent years.
Yeah, before we talk tennis, what have you done with your hair? And what I mean by that, just to clarify, is I really like it. It's looking good at the moment.
It's a little bit curly. I'm just embracing the curls. I had it cut for the wedding, and I'm just allowing it to do its own thing, and then a bit of hairspray on top to keep it in check. Yeah, as long as it doesn't rain, I'm still looking okay.
You're looking young as ever, Ben. I don't know what's happened since you've been married, but you're glowing up, which is good. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section. But back to the tennis, like you say, a lot of narratives. We'll start with the men's because Sinner's withdrawal does change the tournament drastically. It pushes Zverev up. It makes Novak Djokovic a seed. A fourth seed, sorry. And I just find it fascinating because what it's done is made Alcaraz have a pretty tough draw. Of course, that could have happened anyway, with him being the third seed with Sinner there. But Zverev has been, I think, the real winner from this draw. Is that where we're going to start? Maybe with Zverev?
Yeah, let's start with Zverev's draw. The #1 seed, crazy. He normally had a lot of pressure on his shoulders. Remember when he turned up to tournaments and was #1 seed in the past? It used to really affect him. This is a big tournament for him, a Grand Slam, the one that he should have won against Dominic Thiem, but then let it slip away back in 2020. Let's have a look at the seeds he's got in his section. So he's got Tabilo, he's got Dardari, Musetti, Hodar there. We've got Casper Ruud, Zizou Bergs, and Alex de Minaur in there as well. I'd say out of all the seeds, not too bad. Hodar, the big standout name, I would say.
Yeah, and that is the matchup because they obviously played at Roland Garros. Hadar lost in straight sets. I thought maybe Hadar could have troubled him and gone on to win that match. I think Hadar had a real tough, grueling few matches before that. Zverev maybe was a little bit easier at Roland Garros. He's getting better. He's a young kid who's constantly improving. If we do get the quarterfinal matchup of Hadar-Zverev, I'll be thrilled. I think that is the real big one. And I do believe Hadar has maybe a better chance than what he did not too long ago at Roland Garros. I know Hadar is maybe a better clay court player than he is on other surfaces, but you can make the same case for Zverev. He's been one of the best clay court players the last few years. So I think Hadar has what it takes to beat Zverev at the US Open on the hard courts. But they've got no guarantee of us getting it. You've got Casper Ruud in there, who is, I don't know, fizzling around, but we've seen him do some really good things at the US Open. Moving around, Dardari, I think, is a top player. Zizou Bergs is. But this is a Grand Slam. You're going to have all of these big names and big players across the draw. On the whole, though, it's not too bad. And the reason it's not too bad is, let's be honest, you're avoiding some of the US Open champions of the past. I think every former US Open men's champion is in Alcaraz's half. So that's, of course, Alcaraz, Djokovic, Medvedev, Wawrinka, and Cilic. Wawrinka and Cilic, we know it's coming to the end of their careers, but still not bad to avoid every former US Open champion. So whoever's going to arrive in the final from the bottom half, they're going to be going for a shootout in the final for their first ever US Open title.
Yeah, this Zverev quarter, obviously giving the game away a little bit there with who's in his half, which is Felix Auger-Aliassime. He is the number 3 seed and will be a potential semi-finalist for Sasha Zverev. We normally say don't judge the quarter by the seeds, judge them by how good the unseeded players are. We got Arthur Ferry in there. That's an interesting match against Musetti in the first round. Quite like that one. But other than that, there's no one really that I think is that dangerous as an unseeded player in this one. Marazan, maybe. But yeah,
I'm not going to go big this time. I know I always do a Marazan, but I'm going to take a back seat with him. I don't see. Keep going down. You're focusing at the top. Must be more at the bottom. Was that it? Oh no, there we go. Yeah, I don't know. As an unseeded player, I don't see anyone really doing the damage. I know some may say Arthur Ferry, but maybe at Wimbledon, but not here at the US Open. So that's the first quarter. Not so bad for Zverev. Can Hadar beat him? I think it's certainly possible, and I think that is a really exciting matchup if we get it, because it'll be revenge for Roland Garros. This is the top half. So who Zverev will have? Felix, the number 3 seed, like you said. We've got Taylor Fritz at the top. We've got Busso, who's having a good year, the other ginger. Mensik, 17. Blocks, Francisco Cerundolo. Galmon Fils is a wild card. Lerner Tien and Caboli, the man in form. And we've been speaking about Hadar, Caboli, Fils, the 3 real good young players. As much as there's not a former champion on this half of the draw, we do have both Caboli and what was the one we just spoke about on the last page?
What, on this one? Let me go back one second.
Hadar, Caboli, Hadar, and then, well, mate, I didn't mention him, but Lerner Tien. I think maybe you could group him together. There's no fees here, but there's still some really good, tough young players. And we've seen what's happened on the women's recently. Noskova and Andreeva winning Grand Slams.
Yeah.
Could we see one on the men's? I think it's possible. So it's not a cakewalk for Zverev. He's still going to potentially have to beat some really good, young, inspired young players. But at least he does avoid some of the other more experienced ones.
Yeah, and I think who's going to be relishing this draw as well will be Flavio Caboli again. Looking at this draw, he could have been down the other end with your Alcarazes, with your Djokovic. He's got the Zverev half, which he'll probably like because he's beaten Zverev before. He's obviously 4-1 against Zverev. Zverev has more victories, but he knows he can beat Sasha Zverev. And he's been to a Grand Slam final and come pretty close against him as well. I'd say I like some of the other young players in here. Blocks, really, really good player, and he's not got too bad a draw. Mensik, just surely an opportunity for him as well. He'll be looking at this draw thinking, this is a great quarter. If there's any opportunity to come out of this, I think has he already won the mixed doubles as well, Jakub Mensik? I think I saw that. Yeah. Obviously, there's not really like a proper tournament, the mixed doubles, I feel, in this. It's a bit more of an exhibition. We've got Alcaraz.
It's been quite fun, though. Did you watch Serena Alcaraz?
Yeah, I mean, that was entertainment. I would put that as Alcaraz dashing around all over the court.
Mate, Serena hit some crazy winners.
Yeah, she's still amazing.
If she stands still and just strikes the ball, she's pretty good.
In great shape. Looked really like the best I've seen her look in like the past few years for sure. But movement still not going to be her strong suit at this age, unfortunately. But yeah, they didn't win it. But fun to see on the tennis court. I like the fact that they bring that in before the tournament, and it's not really like a proper format. Everybody gets to go out, see some stars, and have a good day out watching mixed doubles, and a bit more of a fun mixed doubles. That's all.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, back to this anyway. Taylor Fritz is someone we're not really talking about. He surely should be looking at this thinking, God, I mean, if I don't win this quarter, what am I doing? And we say that all the time about Taylor Fritz. He's been to the final before. This is another great opportunity to get to the final again. He could have a semi-final against Zverev. He loves playing Sasha Zverev, apart from the last time. In America, surely he would be the favourite, you would think. But
he's had injuries, Ben. He's had
yeah.
tendonitis in his knee. He's been
good.
struggling. We've seen him come back and forth. He said it's totally fine at the moment. That was, I think, the beginning of this month. But for me, Taylor Fritz is a little bit up and down. He can have really good weeks, and I'm sure he can come good. But in a Grand Slam format where potentially you have to play 5 sets at times, I just don't see his body physically allowing him to get to the final of this event. I think in one-off matches he can beat everyone, especially at the US Open. But I don't know. It's tough for him with all of these injuries. I feel there's, of course, been a real drought in American tennis since Andy Roddick in 2003. No American man's won the US Open. Fritz has chances, but probably your best shot in this tournament is not him. It's maybe Shelton, I would say.
Well, that takes us on nicely. I think we've got to move down to the bottom half, and I think we'll move to Alcaraz's section first. He's the number 2 seed, and this is who he's playing first. Roman Safulan first for Carlos Alcaraz, and the seeds in his section, let's say it straight away, Arthur Fils is there in Alcaraz's section, just won Cincinnati. We've got Arnaldi, Tommy Paul, we've got Cam Norrie, we've also got Alex Bublik, and we've got Ben Shelton there at the top, and some dangerous unseeded players in Alcaraz's section too.
Lehechka, you've got to mention.
Oh yeah, Lehechka as well. Really dangerous. We've got
and Tommy Paul. Did you say Tommy Paul?
Yeah, I said Tommy Paul. Hubie Hurkacz. We got Tarante, who's been in great form of late as well. Farrier, he's also, and Brooksby, that's a really good first round match. And Thomas Mahatch as well in this section. Yeah, it's quite a who's who.
For me, it's the toughest quarter, without a doubt. Like Alcaraz, for someone who's coming back from his injury, we don't really know what Alcaraz we're going to expect. This is a horrid draw, and he's been put in a very awkward situation. He's been out for 5 months with a wrist injury, comes back to a tournament without Jannik Sinner thinking, he's got chances, which he does, but he's going to have to, it's a baptism of fire. He's got to be thrown into the deep end early. It's a good opportunity for someone like a Ben Shelton, because I think Ben Shelton has the best chance as the American, in my view. Like, I think he is the best shot for America to win this tournament, just over Taylor Fritz. And with that in mind, what better time to play an Alcaraz in a quarterfinal? If he's just coming back to injury, Shelton's fully fit, raring to go with the US home crowd. If he gets that matchup, he might be able to finally beat him in a big tournament. He struggles so much against an Alcaraz and a Sinner at a Grand Slam. This is his chance. This could be the making of him at the US Open, and the crowd would be going crazy if he can do it. So that's another narrative just to speak about.
Not a cakewalk though through this one even for Ben Shelton though. Talon Griekspoor is really difficult for a first match. Then you could have Hubie Hurkacz second round match. Then I think maybe it gets slightly easier. I mean, unless Shapo suddenly turns up and is playing incredible tennis. Yeah, I mean, in
America.
Maybe, but Arthur Fils, that would be the real danger. He is the one who's in form, and he won Cincinnati in style. It wasn't just like, I scraped through. Yeah, he played out of his skin in that tournament.
Yeah, and we know the stats on the men's for when you win Cincinnati. Last few years, you win Cincinnati, then win the US Open.
Yeah, exactly. But there'll be a few people trying to stop him doing so. One man who we know will be trying to get number 25. and that is none other than Novak Djokovic. He is the number 4 seed. He gets his own quarter, which is brilliant to see. He's got Navone, notably more of a clay quarter in the first round, but has done all right, I think, in some other slams early on of late. And he could have a potential second round matchup with either Berrettini or Stan Wawrinka. I mean, that is incredible in itself. I hope that we get to see either of those. Djokovic, I'm hoping, can just come into this in a bit of form, not worry us in the first match. But look who's in his section. TFO, Echeverry, Andre Rublev, Rinderknecht, Vachereau. They're right next to each other in the draw, which is quite funny. And we've got Nakashima and Daniel Medvedev. Ooh, what do you make of that?
I mean, it's the side of experience, I would say. And I can even include Rublev in that. Like, these are players who have been around the tour for a bit. Medvedev, Rublev, Cilic. If you keep going down, who was it? Of course, Djokovic, Wawrinka. Who else? Berrettini, maybe. Oh, maybe
TFO.
Not Berrettini. TFO has been around. I mean, these players, they've been on the tour for some time. Djokovic won't mind that. And he's probably got favourable record against everyone here.
Yeah, and probably the other half as well. But if you're looking through some of the unseeded players in this one, we've got your guy there, Landaluce. He's in a potential.
Yeah,
it's not too bad. Rublev, Cilic. I mean, Rublev's going to be kicking himself. He's made the quarterfinals 4 times in the US Open. I was thinking, can he make a semi-final? Well, I mean, it doesn't look like great reading this quarter for him. Cilic to start. Then you could have Daniel Merida, who's a bit of a sensation coming through in the second round. And then it could be... You
gave fake news about him on the last episode.
Apparently, I know. Someone in the comments said it wasn't quite as convincing as win against Alcaraz, but it was still a win. So let's still chalk him up. He didn't lose. That was the main thing. And Brandon Nakashima obviously just been to the final in Canada. Obviously lost to Ben Shelton, but he has made a final of a Masters now. It's not an easy section at all for Andre Rublev up there. Mickelson as well. You got to mention him in America. Big serving player. Daniel Medvedev. Can he do anything? I mean, just lost to Martin Dam, I think, in Winston-Salem, which is a terrible defeat, I think, for someone of his caliber. No offense to Dam, but Medvedev should be winning that with ease. Doesn't give me confidence for Daniel Medvedev coming into this tournament at all. TFO, though, I think he might be looking at this thinking maybe a quarterfinal or he could get to, if not more.
Yeah, I think TFO is a great shout. Maybe another person would be Berrettini for me. I think he does have a relatively good slam record, and if he stays fit, a little bit like Fritz, he's super dangerous and can beat most players. I would like to see a Berrettini-Djokovic matchup in the second round, because Berrettini has the tools to do it, but he's really struggled because Djokovic just has a stronger backhand. This is a different Djokovic, though. So Berrettini, if he gets through Djokovic, he can win this quarter, in my view. But it's a big if, because he can win that one, then lose to Rublev quite easily.
For sure. I think something we always do, we normally do it at the beginning, but let's do it now, which is take a look at the odds for the men's.
Yeah.
And as you can see from the odds here, Carlos Alcaraz, despite the injury, is still the overwhelming favourite, just over Sasha Zverev, but massively over Novak Djokovic. 3.5 for Alcaraz, 3.75 for Zverev, Djokovic at 8. Fritz is the 4th favourite, level with Hadar at 12s, and Arthur Fils is 13s, along with Ben Shelton.
Yeah, I think it's pretty fair. That's how I would have expected it. If anything, Fils, I feel like, would have been a little bit higher up on that list. I'd add him maybe single digits. I think he's so good, and I've been saying that for some time. Caboli maybe as well. I wasn't expecting him to be 34s, maybe about more like 26 or something like that. But all in all, I think it's a fair reflection. It's just how Alcaraz is going to respond to the injury and coming back. Is he going to be the same level or not? And I think that's really where the big question is, because without Sinner, of course, you'd think it's his to lose, but this is a different Alcaraz.
Yeah, most definitely. If we were to get the quarterfinals based upon the actual seedings, this is what we would see: Zverev, Dimonor, Medvedev, Djokovic, Shelton, Alcaraz, and Oja Aliassime versus Kaboli. Do we reckon we're going to get all of those?
Well, never. It never happens. So I'm not expecting that at all. I'll be surprised if half of them are there. But no, interesting to see.
For sure. Let's move over to the women's draw and give you our reaction on that. Tell us yours about your thoughts about the men's in the comments section. And here we go. Sabalenka is the number 1 seed. She's going for 3 in a row. That is quite some feat. This is who's in her section. Boom. Marta Kostyuk, Alexandrova, Krejcikova, Anne Lee, Chwalinska, Noskova, and Diana Schneider.
Yeah, and I think Noskova's the one, isn't it? Of course, she's just won a slam this year at Wimbledon.
Yep.
Only going to be getting better. Sabalenka just seems to be out of sorts. I don't know what's going on with her, but doesn't seem to be that frustrated even when she's losing. She's like, I don't know, she's coming out there without much motivation, it seems, and having a bit of a dip in confidence. So I'm not really fearing her. I think there's going to be a lot of players who aren't. There's going to be Marta Kostyuk will really fancy her chances. And certainly that lady at the bottom.
Yeah, there she is, Linda Noskova, up against Volyanets in the first round.
You've got my player as well to watch, Han van der Winkel. She's in here. Got Pliskova.
Typical. Had to be, didn't it? Pliskova in the first round. We got Chwalinska versus Taylor Townsend. That's an interesting one. The young Croatian Ruzic. That will be quite an entertaining match. Anne Lee's come back to a bit of form, so we'll keep an eye on that. And Krejcikova, we never know which one is going to turn up. Could she be the one who topples Sabalenka's bid? You never know with her, though. She's the one who can actually hit hard. Kostyuk, I think, she'll be fairly happy. I mean, Towson could be a potential second-round matchup there, but Kostyuk is one of the more in form. Could we get a 4th round against Linda? Potentially. I think that would be a real entertaining match. But would you say Sabalenka be happy with this draw? Looking at,
I don't think the draw matters that much for Sabalenka because at the moment she can lose to anyone on this draw. I just don't think she's that consistent. And when she plays her best tennis, she can beat anyone. She's always been her worst enemy, and right now that's never been more apparent. So the draw's semi-irrelevant for Sabalenka, but I do believe we will get a Kostyuk Noskova matchup. The thing what's fascinating is we've got a player who I just don't think you want to play if you're not in your best form, and that is a Pegula in the semi-final. She is on the same half as Sabalenka. Pegula's been looking so good, I think, this year. Very, very consistent. In America, you could maybe argue one of the favourites to win this whole thing. I'm not sure where the bookmakers have her, but she's right up there in my estimations. The other seeds, Svitolina, we've got Leila Fernandez, of course, got to this final here not too long ago. Kalinskaya, Emma Navarro, Paolini, any other seeds? Mukova and Cirstea, mainly probably in her last tournament. Mukova, injury-ridden. Let's see how she gets on. Emma Navarro coming back to the tour. I don't know. I think she's got a really good level in her. Could surprise some people. But for me, Pegula, I can see her for sure getting to the final of the US Open. And the reason I'm saying that is I think she beats everyone here. And, of course, the first quarter we've just looked at.
Yeah, she's in real hot form. Been to the final before as well. She managed to do the thing that Andrei Rublev wasn't able to do. She was a quarter-finalist multiple times, wasn't able to get to the semis, but did eventually get to the final as well. Mukova is the big danger player, I would say, in this quarter for her. Svitolina, potentially. Have to wait and see how she does. I know sometimes she comes unstuck But if she gets a run going, that's when she becomes dangerous, Svitolina. She's been having fun playing with Monfils in the in the mixed doubles, which was nice to see. The one that jumps off the page, which is obviously Grand Slam champion versus Grand Slam champion. Venus Williams is in the draw, and she is up against Sofia Kenin, which is great to see two Americans going head to head. Do we give Venus Williams much chance in this tournament? I don't think so. She's right next to Jess Pegula. I think if she even gets past Kenin, she'll get walloped by Jess Pegula. And I think Jess Pegula has to be the hot favourite. I expect Mukova versus Pegula to be the quarterfinal here. I think Mukova is just that good.
She is, but she can lose as well when you're not expecting it. But Mukova fit, I agree.
Yeah, she's only human after all. Rybakina, we're a bit shocked, aren't we? To see her, she didn't pull out the tournament.
Yeah.
She had the Achilles injury. She's the number 2 seed. Maybe she just thought, I'm not pulling out of this. I'm going to give it a good go. So she is the number 2 seed coming in, and she has in her section Bencic, Keys, Sakari, Mertens, Boskova, Osaka, and Iga. Oh, my word. This is a very strong section. Hard-hitting and Grand Slam champions in this section as well. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it was always going to happen with an Iga and a Osaka are both an 8 and a 13 seed. These are top-level women on the tour who know how to win Grand Slams, quite frankly. They know how to win the US Open. And I feel that they've got chances, and it's not great for everyone else. Because if you go to the bottom, the main seeds in Rybakina, who's wasn't sure if she was even going to play the event because of what happened at Cincinnati. It's horrible for her. You've got Madison Keys as well, another one who's American who could do some damage. So as much as it's not good for Rybakina, it's probably not the end of the world for an Osaka or an Iga, because I think a lot of the unseeded players are winnable. I just think there's a lot of good seeds, and it's a section which I would say is up in the air. Like, you can make a case for 4 or 5 players to win this quarter. It doesn't feel that cut and dry at all.
No, and Iga being in such great form coming in, it sort of gets a bit eradicated when you see who she may have to play. Osaka, especially, so good at the US Open, won it twice before. And if Rybakina is fit, it's a nightmare for Iga Swiatek. We know that on a hard court, Rybakina causes all sorts of problems with the serve and with hard baseline hitting. I think it's quite a good draw for the early round to Rybakina, to be honest. If she's able just to get through the couple of rounds and the Achilles isn't causing her too many issues, she could find herself in a 4th round match with Naomi Osaka, and that one really is a blockbuster matchup. And Iga on the other side, I think she's got it slightly easier, but a quarterfinal is going to be really, really difficult against whoever she faces. I expect her to make the quarterfinal, though.
Yeah, agreed.
And
So
then
moving to the last one.
Coco.
Yeah, and she couldn't have arrived here in better form. Winning Cincinnati,
Yep.
the 4th seed. She would have a big matchup maybe against Amanda Anisimova, which is great for America. I think you could really have the American ladies do extremely well at this year's US Open. Wouldn't surprise me if one of them win them, because between Anisimova, Pegula, Keys, Coco Gauff,
yeah,
I think there's real good chances. It would be a good bet to say an American lady is going to win the US Open. Wouldn't surprise me if it is Coco Gauff. This draw is fascinating. Of course, for us, we would love to see Alex Eala beat her, and that would be huge news if she can do that.
Yeah, that's one of the big names in this final section. We got Anisimova as a seed. We got Balek, who obviously beat Sabalenka just recently. We got Potapova, Ostapenko, Eala, Who else we got? Mirra Andreeva and Iga Swiatek in this section as well. So some real young players. We had Zeynep Sonmez is the first match for Coco Gauff too. So some real youngsters. This whole section obviously got some experienced players sprinkled in there too. But we could end up with, well, look, Eala Jovic is. It looks like we could have that matchup again, and that's not good for Eala because Jovic just seems to be a little bit ahead of her in experience, I think, on the tour. It's only slight, but I think when they play each other, it's noticeable.
Yeah, I agree. But with Eala, she can turn it around, and we've seen her beat better players than Jovic. So anything's possible. I think if she was to do it, the hype around an Eala versus Coco Gauff would be quite huge. All we need is so Coco Gauff to have a poor forehand performance and forget how to play them shots, and Eala's got a chance. But definitely getting ahead of ourselves. Eala can lose against the qualifier, no doubt. I think Andreeva, I feel, is a contender, another one to win the whole thing. She's that good for me on all surfaces. She is developing into what we thought she could be. And I would favour her even over Anisimova. So I think Andreeva, Coco Gauff is the sensible quarterfinal matchup. But of course, it would be interesting to see how Eala fits into that.
Yeah, I would favour Anisimova slightly more, just based upon just the level of power she has over Andreeva. And didn't she make it to was she in the final last year? I believe she might have been. But I'll have to double check that, just so I'm not giving off some fake news.
Yeah, my brain's fried. I've had a whole day at work.
Yeah,
so
Sabalenka versus Anisimova. Yeah, it was right. Okay, just to double check that one, because obviously she lost to Iga, didn't she? And then she
double bagel.
Yeah, and then she went on and did a lot better. So there was,
and then beat Iga as well in another tournament.
Exactly. So she had a fantastic year last year. Hard to live up to making it to 2 Slam finals, but I think that she'll be fairly happy with the opening rounds, and she should be able to make it through. I hope we get Andreeva versus Anisimova, and I hope we get Eala versus Coco Gauff. It's not going to be easy, this one, for Coco Gauff, but it's not going to be easy for any of them. And if she continues in the form that she was in Cincinnati, she beats anybody, really. That's the reality for Coco Gauff. Her movement is far superior to everyone. If her serve's going, one of the cleanest technique in the women's game, she just has to put it together.
Good, but Mirra Andreeva can still beat the best version of Coco.
Yeah, but with the crowd on her side.
Yeah, you sleep on Mirra too much. She's got what it takes to beat Coco.
She's a Slam champion now. We should not sleep on Mirra Andreeva. She is dangerous, that's for sure. Let's have a look at the odds. It is obviously Sabalenka who is the favourite. She's won it twice on the bounce. Can she do 3 in a row? Very difficult to achieve. Iga and Coco are level in second favourite with 6s. Osaka, fourth favourite with 12s. Pegula and Rybakina level with 13s. And Mirra Andreeva, 15s. Anisimova, 19s. And so on. So there you go. Noskova and Eala level with 34s there.
Yeah, if you go up a bit, the value for me is in Andreeva and Pegula. I think Andreeva, Pegula are really good outside bets.
Yeah, Pegula for sure. Especially the form that she's been in coming into this one.
And her half of the draw with Pegula is nice.
Yep, for sure. I think that is the one thing you have to take into consideration. I think you did so not too long ago when you had Coco Gauff winning Roland Garros, wasn't it? So, you've got to take that into consideration, who they won't have to face rather than who they will. And Pegula, could this be a year? Could the Americans be cheering? Could we get Coco Gauff Pegula final? I mean, then they'll be celebrating no matter what over in America. Or will we get someone completely random with a first Slam win on the women's side as well? But that sort of wraps up our reaction to both of the draws. Tell us what you think about them. Who's got the sticky one? Is it Iga? Is it Alcaraz? Or do you think some of the other players have tougher draws than them?
Yeah, and if you want to see our full predictions on who we have winning the men's and women's, stay tuned. We'll be doing that video shortly on the podcast. I want to see what Ben does with Djokovic. Is he going to double down on Novak? There's no Yannick Sinner to get behind, so I don't even know who I'm going to be going for on the men's. Women's, I've got more of an indication. I may have given some of it away, but let's see. Until we get to the rounds, I don't know how it's all going to play out. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you very soon in New York for American action.